Silver bars. If you're watching the video, you're probably as much of a fan of them as I am. But with so many absolutely stunning pieces available on the market, which bars are right for you? Well, today we're going to be taking a look at all the different bars available and weighing up the pros and cons for each. So, with that being the case, and without any further delay, let's get on with the show. Hello and thank you very much for joining me. Today we're going to be taking a look at all the different types of silver bars available on the market and just seeing what the differences are between them. Now I'm going to start off by taking a look at these cast bars. Now this 10 ounce and this 5 ounce germanium mint cast silver bar is on loan to me by my good friends down at Cardiff Gold. So I do just want to say a massive thank you to Cardiff Gold for loaning me these two pieces and enabling me to make this video today. I will of course be putting a link to their website in the description of the video, and I highly recommend that you head on over to check out all the beautiful pieces of gold, silver and copper that they have to offer. But as I say, we'll start off with these bars. Now, as you can see, the germanium mint cast bars come with the germanium mint logo at the top of the bar. And then you've got the details of the bar, i.e. 999.9 fine silver, the weight and the serial number at the bottom. They're wrapped in a cellophane with a holographic counter fraud measure on the back right there, and not only that, they also come in these lovely little cardboard boxes which further help you to keep your bars looking in a great condition. So yes, that's the 10 ounce right there. You've also got the 5 ounce version right there, but germanium mint don't stop there because they do also provide a 1 ounce version as well, just like this one right here. So I would consider these to be quite generic cast bars. They're quite plain in their design. They're in a regular bar shape. You will find very often with cast bars that they do have kind of rounded edges, but that's not necessarily going to be the case. You can have much more square edges on a cast bar. All I'm saying is that generally speaking, you will see that they do have quite a rounded edge, just like all three of these germanium mint bars right here. And just so everybody knows, Cardiff Gold currently have the 10 ounce bar up for sale at £420.80 including VAT. The 5 ounce version is currently up for sale at £201.35 including VAT, and unfortunately the 1 ounce version is currently sold out at Cardiff Gold, but hopefully we'll be getting more stock in very soon. So as I say, this is generally your run-of-the-mill cast bar. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, I think germanium mint have done an incredible job with these. I think they're absolutely stunning. I love the mirrored finish they have to them, and the detail on them is absolutely great. But I would say this kind of bar is probably best for your hardcore stacker. You know, you just want to get as much silver as you possibly can for your money. You will generally tend to find, now again, this isn't always the case, but you'll generally tend to find that a cast bar like this will have a lower premium to it than a more artistically designed pressed or art bar, which, as I say, is great for stackers and investors who aren't really looking to have a collection of silver. They just want to invest for the future and want to get as much silver as they possibly can for the money. Now, that's not always the case. You can get very artistic cast pieces like this one right here, which has been sent to me by the wonderful Tuli over in America. She cast this bar herself with the ripple effect on the back right there. You've got all the different details of the bar, the weight, the year of production, the serial number, and the amount of silver in there, etc. And you've got an absolutely stunning design to the front of the bar. I really do think these pieces are absolutely fantastic what Tuli's producing, and this is definitely something I would be more than happy to pick up myself. Now, these kind of pieces you will generally tend to find do come with a higher premium to them. You can sometimes pick them up at a really great value. It all depends on the person who's pouring them and creating them. But as I say, you know, what you'll normally find is because it's got more detail to it and there's more effort gone into producing the bar, designing it, creating the molds, etc., these kind of bars generally can have a bit more of a premium to them. So if you've got one like here from Tuli, another one like this one right here was produced by Silver Punk and is in the shape of a shield with TSC on the front there. So yeah, one great thing about these kind of things is you can have them made to order. Like this one was right here. Silver Punk made this on a commission, and he went through the design and produced it himself. He has his own 3D printer, but there are companies that you can use to get a 3D printed mold made and send it back to you. So as I say, yeah, the cast and poured bars are normally split up into two different types, which is your generic cast bars and your custom cast pieces like this one right here. They're wonderful pieces. Now I'm getting more and more into cast pieces, but more this kind of stuff right here. I'm seeing some absolutely incredible pieces being created by the community at the moment. There's some fantastic pours out there, the likes of John RMS, Liquid Metals, the Louis, Silver Punk I've already mentioned, Tuli is doing some incredible work. You've obviously got Backyard Bullying, who's been creating pieces for quite some time, and many more. So there's very much a lot of diversity out there for you to choose from. Another one is Rio's Precious Metals. He has some fantastic design. One in particular is based upon the George and the Dragon from the old Sovereigns and Crowns, which I'm sure you'll understand I particularly like myself. But as I say, you know, you've got your two different types of cast pieces, being your more generic pieces and your more custom artistic designs like this right here. So moving on from that, I think I've mentioned most of what I have to say regarding that. But moving on, we'll take a quick look at some pressed bars. So pressed bars are more like this kind of thing right here. Rather than having liquid metal poured into a cast or a mould, these are actually made by pressing plain planchettes, which are coming in the shape of this bar, and then the mints will just print their design onto the bar. There's two main types of generic bars like these. I would call this a generic press bar, and this is the most generic type you can get. This is a Australian Perth Mint Swan, so they produce one of these every single year. And just the same with other mints, you've got the Sunshine Mint bar right back right there. You've got an American Bison right there, and the Indian Haddock on the other side, which is based on the old American Quarter. And you've got a Johnson Matthey bar right here. So as well as that, what you can find with the press bars is you can get loads of different designs for them. Like you've got the Aztec calendar bar right there. You've got the Bull Mint Phoenix right there. You've got the original Uno and the Lion right there. The follow-up Uno and the Lion by the Royal Mint right there, and the Sunshine Mint Uno and the Lion right there. So as you can see, there's a lot of different diversity when it comes to these bars. Some are standalone issues, but you also get other bars that come as part of a series, just like the Dragon bars, just like these two right here. Now they'll issue a new bar with a new design on every single year, and there's plenty of other mints that do a similar kind of thing as well, just like you would find with coins and rounds. So these I would say are probably the most common kinds of silver bars out there. You can see stackers with loads of these in their collection, and they are a great way to collect beautiful different pieces of silver, because as I say, you get such a diverse array of different designs on them. Right here we've got the Scottsdale Vortex bar, which is one of my favorites of my bars. I love the design that Scottsdale have produced for this bar. I love the way it shimmers in the lights when you angle it differently, just like that. It's got the more generic Scottsdale front to the bar. I think they use that on most of their bars, which you'll see on the Archangel Michael right here. So if you flip that over, it's got exactly the same obverse on the bar, but the reverses are completely different. I think both sides look great on the Scottsdale bar. I really love the Scottsdale Lion side, and as I say, they really do have some fantastic designs to their pieces, just like those two right there. You'll very often find that bars are produced just on their own, just like this. Sometimes they'll come in a capsule, sometimes you'll have to purchase your own capsules to place them in afterwards, but that's not always the case because a lot of the time they are also issued in a tamper evident packaging assay card version, just like this one right here, which is the Celebration bar by the Royal Mint. You've also got the Una of the Line right there. You've got the Star Wars light side bar right there, as well as the Nadir bar and the Valcambi right there. So as I say, these are exactly the same, but they come in a assay card, which is also acts as a TEP or tamper evident packaging, which basically means there's no way of opening this package right here to get at this bar without it being evident that somebody has actually gone into the bar, which is usually a further counter fraud measure, and it would stop people from being able to remove a authentic bar, put a counterfeit bar in there, and then resell it with the authentic packaging on it. So that's another way to pick up these bars. You will find that they do generally have a little bit of a higher premium if they're in the assay bars, just like this one right here. A silver bar at the moment, now it's very difficult to say on the values because obviously spot price is changing all the time, which will affect the price of the bars, but at the moment I would say you will probably be looking to spend somewhere in the region between £28 and £32 for one of these press bars, just like these here. The more generic the design and the more that are available, the lower the price is going to be, and the more popular or lower mintage a bar has, that will help to increase it in value. Now, as well as these generic press bars, you also get bespoke bars, which are bars that have been created to a specific shape and size, which doesn't conform to the norm. As you can see, all these bars kind of look very similar except for the pattern that's on there. There is a very, very slight difference in size. Now, these two bars right here are a different size. You've got the Perth Mint on the right hand side, the Vortex on the left hand side, and as you can see, the Vortex is just very slightly bigger than the Perth Mint bars. The Perth Mint bars you will normally find are exactly the same size as the Royal Mint bars as per this Una of the Line right there. So you will find that you can put a Royal Mint bar in a Perth Mint capsule and vice versa. Apart from that, I've not personally seen any other size of bar that wouldn't fit in either the capsule for these bars or the capsule for these bars. There may be some available, but as I say, I personally have only ever seen those two size bars. So let's have a look at a few examples of some bespoke bars. Now, first one right is this one right here. You've got the Bespoke bar, which is produced by the New Zealand Mint on behalf of Nui. And as you can see, it does look quite standard, but if I get another bar, you'll see that shape and size is very, very different to a standard cast bar. These are their own shape and their own size, which means it's very difficult to obtain a capsule for this kind of bar. You'll very often have to find that you need to go out and purchase a bespoke made capsule, just like this acrylic capsule right here. There are other types of capsules available for these, but I just think these acrylic capsules make the bars look by far the best for when you're displaying them. Okay, so a few other bespoke bars. You've got the Batarang / bat symbol bars. Now, as I say, these are bespoke shape, but I would consider these to be bars. Now, they are both technically coins, but you can have a coin that is a bar, just like the Dragon coin bars, like this one right here. Each one of these bars has a denomination and is technically a coin. And as you can see, just there, this bar is worth $1 face value. So as I say, a bar can absolutely be a coin, but I would definitely consider these kind of things to be bespoke shape bars or custom shape bars, just like the Bespoke bar right there. And as well as that, very, very popular choice for stackers, you've got the Geiger squares, which comes in a variety of sizes. Right here we've got the 100 gram, the 1 ounce, and also the 5 gram versions right there. So as you can see, there are some very different kinds of bars available on the market. Now, these bespoke bars can be extremely popular, and a lot of the times they will have a limited mintage, which means that they can have quite a premium to them. You'll generally tend to find it will cost you more to buy a 1 ounce Geiger square in the acrylic capsule like this than it would just to buy a generic bar just like this one right here. That's not always the case. As I say, some of these bars can be extremely popular as well. As we know, the 2021 Uno and the Lion bar was exceedingly popular and therefore does carry somewhat of a premium to it nowadays. So yeah, as I say, this is more a rule of thumb, but as I say, you will generally tend to find the bespoke pieces, because they're so different, do become very popular and do have quite a large premium to them. Just very quickly, another example of a bespoke bar is this Valcambi Suisse combi bar right here, which is a 100 gram bar that is made up of 100 individual 1 gram bars all attached together just like that. So if I wanted to, I could release this from the packaging, I could break them apart, they would literally just snap apart, and I would have 100 1 gram bars. I'd never do that. These bars do have a bit of a premium to them, and I've bought it as a single bar, and I definitely want to keep it that way. But as I say, that right there is another example of a bespoke bar. So these are all press bars, but they're all vastly different shapes and sizes, and yeah, a lot of fun to collect. I do personally like the bespoke bars. I like that they're a bit different to the norm. You know, they stand out from the crowd very easily, and they are something that I do like to pick up as and when I get a chance. So the last category we're going to look at today is what I like to call as art bars. Now, you could also say these are custom bars or bespoke bars. They very much are. But these tend to have a lot more thought and effort put into the intricate design of the piece, which does generally mean that they have a much higher premium to them. So I showed it at the very beginning of the video. The first one we'll look at is this one right here, which is the 2.5 ounce sword of Saint Gabriel right there. It's a truly stunning piece. As I say, this one, it weighs 2.5 ounces. Look at all the detail on the hilt of the sword right there, and not only with the feathers, just look at the actual detail on the hilt. It's just so intricate and so beautiful, it really is. But as I say, that is the sword of the Archangel Gabriel. We'll pop that just there, and we'll take a look at a few others. So this one right here is the 1 ounce Han Solo in carbonite bar, and as you can see, it is a scaled down model of Han Solo after he's been frozen in carbonite by Jabba the Hutt. It's a truly beautiful piece. It's one that I particularly like, being a fan of the original Star Wars movies, and I love the way that it generally does look like it's a shrunk down version of Han Solo after he got caught in carbonite. Again, you know, this is a 1 ounce piece, and it does have a very high premium on it. You can look to be paying somewhere in the region of around £150 just for the 1 ounce piece right here. So as I say, these definitely are very different in prices to your standard pieces like that right there. A few others we've got. Now this, I wasn't sure whether or not to consider this as more of a bespoke bar or to actually consider it as an art bar. Now you could really say it's kind of on the cusp of both, because yeah, it's not as intricately detailed as maybe some of the other pieces like this Thor's hammer right here, but it is very nicely detailed. If you look closely to the dragon, you can see that there's a lot of different texture to the scales. There is some great detail to the bar, but it is also a little plain as well, and that's why I say it's kind of on the cusp. But the reason I've considered this with the art bars today is, like the other art bars, this does have quite a high premium to it. So you're probably looking to pay around the same amount of money for this 2 ounce red dragon right here as you would be for the 2 ounce Milner stackable like this one right here. You may even find that the 2 ounce red dragon actually costs a little bit more than one of the stackables. As I say, it does have a high premium to it. One of the reasons for that is not only because it's a very bespoke piece, it's a very nice design, and it appeals to anyone who's a stacker but also a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, but it also has quite a low mintage as well. On the back of the bar you can see it's designed based on a D20 dice, which is what is very commonly used along with the sizes, but it's very commonly used to play the game of Dungeons and Dragons. As well as that, we've got a few others right here, such as the Hamza Hand of Fatima and the Ganesh 2 ounce stackable. These are part of a series that are produced by the Korean Today Mint. There's quite a few different pieces in the series. I've just picked up a few of my favourites out there, but I think there's about 30 of them at the moment. I know Coin Noob, he's got most of them. So if you do like these pieces, definitely check out Coin Noob's channel because he's got loads of them to share with you all. But as I say, right here, you've got the Hamza Handa Fatima, you've got the Guinness right there. We'll try and make a little bit of room for them. Let's move a couple of these out of the way and we'll pop that there and there. And finally, just to go with the other stackables, you've got the new Eternal Flame 2-ounce stackable right here. I've still got mine in the blister pack. I will need to take it out of the blister pack at some point, but I do like the fact that it's keeping the capsule from getting scuffed. Now, that might sound daft. You might think that sounds daft because it's a capsule, but over time, these capsules can get a little scuffed, and it does detract from how nice the silver looks. And the good thing is, as soon as you take the capsule off, the silver is pristine. But when you're displaying them in the capsule, like this has got loads of little tiny scratches and marks on the capsule. You can just make them out when I see it right there. So as I say, I do like the fact that this is actually keeping the capsule in a much better condition, and it won't end up getting scuffed like some of the other ones I have in front of me today. So they're what I consider to be the most common types of bars on the market. As I say, you've got two main categories, being either cast/poured or pressed. Under cast bars, you can have your more generic pieces like the 10-ounce, 5-ounce and 1-ounce just there, or you can have the more artistic/artisanal pieces like the Silver Punk or the Tuli Tuli piece right there. On the other hand, as I say, you've got the pressed bars, which are all these bars right here, this right here. All of the Korean Today Mint stuff is pressed bars as well. But as you can see, there's so much diversity between the standard press bars, the bespoke press bars, the art bars like these right here, and there's so many others available on the market. Now, a lot of the pieces in front of me, if you were a hardcore stacker, if you were just looking at silver as an investment, a lot of these pieces, I would probably suggest they are not the kind of things you want to be looking at. If you look at the Guinness stackable like this right here, I would say this has got a retail value of around £100 to it right now for a 2-ounce piece. So you're looking at about £50 per ounce on that piece right there. But as I say, for these more generic press bars, you're looking at a price range of around £28 to £32 per bar, which means you could get 3 of those for under £100, which means you're getting a whole extra ounce of silver for your money, as opposed to these 2-ounce stackables. So with that being the case, I would say if you're looking at silver as just an investment and you're not worried about having a collection, you're more than happy to put all your silver in a box, lock it in a safe and just have it there creating value, I would say what you want to do is look for either these cast bars like the 10-ounce, 5-ounce Dominions right there, maybe even in a larger size. You can get some really huge cast bars. You can get cast bars up to 5 kilograms and more. One thing I will say, and one place to be careful when it comes to the cast bars, it's not so much an issue with this 10-ounce bar right here, because a detection machine would be able to penetrate this bar fairly easily, I would say. It wouldn't be too difficult. It is quite chunky, but some of the better machines on the market, such as the Sigma, etc., should be able to penetrate this bar. Now, once you have a large enough cast bar, like I mentioned earlier, something along the size of 5 kilograms, the only way to test that bar is to drill into the bar. You cannot test it by using a scanner. There's just too much metal for it to penetrate through, for it to find out what is in the middle of a bar. And one thing you'll find is quite common, unfortunately, with the bigger bars, is what they'll do is they'll have silver all over the edge, but inside, in the middle, will be another metal. Very often copper or lead inside the centre of a silver bar. So as I say, that's something to worry about if you're looking at the really, really big bars. And as I say, the only way to test them is to actually take them down to a dealer, to have it drilled to the centre core of the bar, and then they're able to find out what exactly is inside that bar. Okay, so yeah, that's one thing I just wanted to make everyone aware of if you were looking at the larger bars. But as I say, if you were looking at this mainly as a stacker/investor, you want to be looking at the cast bars / the generic press bars. You do want to look to buy as large a bar as possible, because what you will find a lot is the larger the bar, the lower the premium on the piece. But as I say, be very careful when you're getting really big bars, because you can find that they are actually filled with a different metal. Okay, so yeah, that being the case, when it comes to collecting, that is definitely when I would say buy what you like. You know, if it's for your collection, there's no right or wrong. If you see something and you just have to have it in your collection and you can afford to buy it, then why not? Go ahead. It doesn't matter what other people do. It doesn't matter what other people say. You know, it's your collection, it's your money, and there generally is no right or wrong. The only thing I would say is obviously shop around, because if you see something like this Gabriel sword right here, you know, don't necessarily just jump and buy it the first second you see it. Look online, you know, do a bit of shopping around. You might find that one store has it for £20 cheaper than the one you were looking at it originally, so you can save a lot of money just by shopping around. But as I say, something like this is always going to come with a bit of a premium at least, but you may find that there's a little bit of wiggle room between the prices if you were to spend a bit of time looking around online. Now, that's not always the case. I mean, if you're looking at something like this bar right here, now, maybe not necessarily the Uno and the Lion, but something new like this one right here, like the 2024 Dragon Ball, because you will find when they're first released, they will be slightly lower in value than when they run out of stock at the mints. As soon as the mints run out of stock, it's the same for all of these pieces, but as soon as they run out of stock in the mint and they start getting harder to get your hands on, that is when you'll start seeing the prices come up, and they can get quite high. I've seen Uno and the Lion bars just like this 2021 bar right here sell for around £100. Now, I've been online and there have been a few sell recently this week for more around the £36 to £40 mark, but I have in the past seen them sell for £100 per bar. So, as I say, they can have a lot of premium to them. So they can very much be worth buying for an investor. The only problem and difference with that is if you had something like the Uno and Lion bar, which was a bit more popular than the other bars and therefore had a bit more of a premium to it, you would have to sell them individually on the second-hand market. You couldn't go down to the local dealer, pass them all your bars and expect them to give you retail value per bar. All they're going to do is they're going to weigh the bars and they're going to give you a standard price for a 1 ounce silver bar, regardless of what is on top of it. So as I say, you know, one thing to look at when you're purchasing these things is to consider what your exit strategy is going to be. If your exit strategy is to literally just go down to the local dealer, cash it all in, take the money from the investment and go, then you just want to get the most generic, low premium stuff that you can find. And as I say, you know, if you are looking to purchase the more artistic or bespoke pieces to sell them on at a later date, you are best off looking to do that on the secondary market to get the full value per piece. Now, not everything's going to be an investment. A lot of the times you may find you pay more to buy the piece originally than they are worth a year down the line. As investors of precious metals, we are very much at the mercy of the spot price, which could go up or down at any time. I would say generally over time, you're going to see silver go up in value, but that's not necessarily the case. And we have seen very large crashes in silver in the past. I would say if you are looking at precious metals solely as an investment, you are better off to look at gold. Now, I know gold's a lot more expensive and you will get a lot more silver for your money than you will with gold. But as far as investments go, I can promise you gold is just a better investment. For one, you'll generally find the premiums are a lot lower on gold items. You can pick them up a lot closer to spot price than you can for the silver items. Two, gold is definitely very much more popular as an investment vehicle than silver is, which does mean it's very sought after, extremely liquid. And as I say, because you're able to purchase it so close to spot price, it doesn't necessarily take that long for you to see a return on your investment above and beyond what you paid for it. Because there's such a difference between the silver spot price and the retail value for silver pieces, it does take a long time for you to gain profit or interest on that piece based purely on the spot value, i.e. the amount of money you're going to get if you take your pieces down to a local dealer for them just to give you a load of money for it. Okay, so I think I've pretty much gone through everything I can think of pertaining to silver bars, but if you do have any further questions, please feel free to pop them into the comments and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, as that stuff really does generally help small content creators like myself. But I have definitely rabbled on for long enough now, so I am going to leave you all in the usual fashion by saying, until next time, as always, look after each other, keep stacking, take care, and goodbye.